Age 65 or older, 47% report current alcohol use. Drinking too much can cause harm to children, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, you will still be around for your grandchildren. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Walk On Weekly with your hosts, Nebraska men's basketball players Sam Hoiberg and Jeff Grace III. This is Walk On Weekly, sponsored by the Scarlet Hotel.
All right, welcome into Ticket Weeknights. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos. As always, come Ticket Weeknights. And once again, we got the host, as always, for Walk On Weekly, Jeff Grace III, to my left here in studio. And we got Sam Hoiberg on the Allo VIP line, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. Sam Hoiberg, how's it going on this warm Monday night, man? Or Tuesday, excuse me.
It's going great. Just finished up practice, ready to go.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to join in for the show at all, like I said, we got Jeff Grace III, Sam Hoiberg, both from the Nebraska basketball team. If we're lucky, maybe even a third guest as well from the basketball team. But in the meantime, if you guys want to join in, 402-464-5685. That is the Starter Heyman text line. If you want to put a face to the voice, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Allo, channel 961. First thing I want to do here, since we got both of you guys in here, a couple well-minded basketball guys, obviously did enough to get the Power 5 college basketball. Help me figure out this Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey 1v1 trade-off. As a Chicago Bulls fan, what are your guys' thoughts on this trade? Just a 1v-off, no compensation, no picks. Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso. Jeff Grace III, you're in studio. Your thoughts?
I mean, it's a Chicago trend. It doesn't surprise me at all. Being from Chicago, it's kind of sad, but I mean, life goes on, I guess.
Hoiberg, I mean, I'm pretty much there with Jeff.
I think Josh Giddey has a higher potential than Alex Caruso. That being said, he's got an interesting game. He doesn't shoot the three very well. And in today's game, if you don't do that well, I feel like your peak is only so high. Mm-hmm. But if he can become a knockdown shooter, I think he's going to be a really, really good player. And I can see him being a great player. But I don't mind it for the Thunder. Because if Caruso can shoot well and space the floor, it's just another really good defender you have on your team. And, I mean, I think that's just another really good piece that can help a team win a finals. And he was with that Lakers team that won, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
In the bubble.
Yeah, I think having those types of players are pretty invaluable. I mean, guys like Drew Holiday, Derek White on the Celtics are kind of examples of that. There's three and D, more D for Drew Holiday, definitely. I mean, Derek White showed star potential in the playoffs, but Caruso can play a type of role similar to that and just be another piece paired with some superstars like Shea. I think Jalen Williams is going to be great. I think that's a good addition to the Thunder there.
Yeah, I think the Thunder, that's a home run. That's an A-plus trade if I'm the Thunder. Despite sitting on a stockpile of picks, you don't have to give up a single one. And yeah, Alex Caruso, he kind of fits exactly what they're trying to do, especially since with SGA, you kind of trust him to do most of the playmaking on that team. And like Sam's saying with Josh Giddey, I think it's just the shooting numbers. OKC Thunder, how do you think like the fit for them? Jeff Grace III.
It definitely helps them a lot more. Like Sam said, it's definitely something they're looking for. It's going to help them in the long run. He has potential and he has expertise that they don't have right now. And I think he will be a good fit for them to get over the hump.
Yeah, already number one seed in the Western Conference last season. Now they get a key guy. And you definitely need that defensive guard, someone who can make some of those, nullify some of the other superstars who are going up against the playoffs, especially when you get to postseason. We saw that with Drew Holiday, Alex Caruso, Holiday in particular, a ring with the Bucks, then a ring with the Celtics, still capable for popping off for about 20 points. But yeah, when you're looking at it, the Thunder, does this move the needle enough? Now that they do have a lockdown defender, Drew Holiday, Sam Hoiberg, I'll start with you. Or like I said, already had the number one seed in the Western Conference. Is this enough to actually get them over the edge now and make a run for the finals?
Well, here's the thing. They do have that stopper already in Lou Dort. I think Caruso probably adds a little bit more offense in Dort. I mean, he's a shaky shooter. He shoots these rainbows. He goes from switching a couple to airballing a couple. So I don't think he's really just like super dependable in that regard. He's obviously a great defender, but I think Caruso is a little bit more dependable with this 3-point shooting. I could be wrong. I don't watch much Bulls basketball, but he's definitely capable. I know that. And just having another guy that can come in and guard when Lu Dort's tired even, or you could play Caruso over him. I don't know if it necessarily gives them a chance to win yet. I think they're at least 2 years away, but certainly a good addition. And, I mean, they can make a run. We'll see how they do next year. Like I said, I think they're 2 years out from being the team to beat. Just the Celtics team is so good right now. But you never know what's going to happen in the playoffs. We saw that this year.
Yeah, Jeff, what about you? I think I'm about there. I think it's another year, maybe 2 years out. And mainly, if it's in the East, it's a different story. I think they probably run into the Celtics still. The West is just, we still don't really know what the Timberwolves, how good they're going to be next year. The Phoenix Suns, new head coach, I'm still doubtful with the Suns. Obviously, you still got the Nuggets. And then we saw it this year with the Mavericks, shocked a lot of people. The West is just loaded. That's why I'm kind of hesitant. But I think like 2 years down the line, just because of how young they are and picks still on the board, if they need to get some more talent in there, I don't think the Thunder are too far away from making some serious finals runs.
Yeah, you definitely got to give it a couple of years. It's definitely not going to develop right away. It's going to be interesting to see how the free agency goes, especially in the West. There's a lot of big names out there. But yeah, I would definitely say give them a couple of years. It's definitely not going to go as they want right away. But I mean, being number one in the West and then adding that addition, I mean, there's some upside for that. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. With that being said, we do got a guest walking in here. We'll let him in right now. As we got Henry Burt. We got the third member of the Nebraska basketball joining us currently. As Burt's getting seated here, we're talking about the Chicago Bulls trade, a one-off for Josh Giddey. And since we got Burt in here, we all kind of gave our opinions already. I don't think any of us were too favorable on the Bulls side. Great trade if you're an OKC Thunder fan, OKC player. But for the Chicago Bulls, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You think they get a pick. And then I want to talk about a few more guys as well. But since we got them locking in right now, Henry Burt, what do you think about the trade? One-off Alex Caruso for Josh Giddey between the Chicago Bulls, OKC Thunder.
Man, I mean, I'm not a huge NBA guy, but, I always pay attention during playoff season, everything. But I don't think Caruso is very good right now. Like, I haven't really seen him much, but I feel like the Thunder kind of interesting trade. I think they just wanted Giddey out of there.
Yeah.
No, they didn't really mix well with him, but from an actual trade perspective, I don't think it was very good for the Thunder. But the Bulls, I really like that, getting Giddey. I think he's a good player.
All right, so you were more on Hoibergs for the
That's
potential.
interesting.
Yeah.
All right. I need some of that. As a Bulls fan,
Caruso is good, Henry.
Yeah, I mean, I from my opinion, I don't think he's that good anymore. I mean, he's getting older, but that's just my opinion.
This is lack of NBA watching, guys.
This is bad.
That's probably part of it,
This
too.
is bad.
the bald hair is deceiving. The bald head.
It is.
Henry
Don't
also
let
getting
me fool
10
you, though.
push-ups for being late.
How old is this guy now? I mean, he looks like he's almost 40.
I don't even think he's
He's
getting close to
definitely
30 yet.
No
Alex
shot he's that
Caruso
old.
is probably like
Probably
let's find this
30.
out. Oh yeah, he is 30. Okay, I was thinking like 28, but he is 30.
Okay.
Still got some plenty of good NBA in him. But let's talk about some more free agents. Klay Thompson. This one's stalled. Sam Hoiberg, I want to get your thoughts first on it because we've kind of talked about it before. Klay Thompson, do you see this thing shaking out with the Warriors? And if you are Klay Thompson, is this the place to be, or do you think he'd be better off looking elsewhere?
Man, this is an interesting one just because it's hard to break up that core from the Warriors. But after the performance he had going 0 for 10 in their last game, which is going viral right now,
Yep.
it just feels like it's time for him to go look somewhere else and get a fresh start. He's been there his whole career. I've seen some Magic rumors. I really like that for him.
Why the Magic? Why is that a good fit?
Just because they're a young team, and obviously they struggled in the playoffs this year being young. I don't think anyone knocks them for that, but they have Paolo, who's going to be a superstar. And you add a vet who's been there before. He can help kind of establish some of that winning culture and bring that playoff experience. I think with a fresh start and playing with some really good players, I think he's going to get shots, and I think he can really help them. But really just bringing that veteran presence to that team, I think that would be huge. And obviously, I don't think he's completely washed. I just think he needs a fresh start. I think he still averaged close to 18 points a game this season or something like that.
Yeah.
So he's definitely not washed up, but I think he does need a fresh start. I think it's time to break up that Warriors core and just kind of, I think you can still build around Steph Curry, but I just don't know if they're going to be contenders at this stage.
I think Steph Curry needs to get out of there, honestly.
I can't see that.
Steph leaving.
I don't know about that one,
yeah.
Henry.
I can't see that at all.
He's not
Well, I
leaving
mean, they
there
just
ever.
their team is just not the same. Like, it's just, I think Curry
I
can
think
find
Steph's
another
going to
team
retire
that.
with the Warriors.
I agree.
Yeah, he probably won't be going anywhere. If you are going to try to break this thing up, though, is it Klay Thompson? Is that the clear answer to try to put this Warriors team back on track? Because he did put up, like you said, it was just below 18. It was a high 17-point game average. One of his worst seasons he's had with the Warriors, just in terms of shooting, total points, but still clearly got plenty left in him. I think a different situation from doing well, but I do think Klay Thompson's probably that right pick. You can get a decent amount out of him, move him on, try to rebuild this thing back. You keep Steph Curry. Draymond Green, I know people don't like him, but he's pretty integral to that whole thing. His defense, just his leadership, he kind of unlocks that whole thing. If you're breaking this thing down, if you're really going to try to shake up the Warriors, break up the core, is there any move outside of the Klay Thompson that you would make? Or is Klay Thompson, you put him with the Magic or any other cities out there that you'd like to where maybe you can get some decent capital back?
I would say Wiggins or Kuminga.
Yeah, Kuminga never gets talked about very much.
And I feel like he has a lot of potential, and especially like people have seen him like now play a lot more last year. So they see his like true potential.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he has a lot to offer the table as well. And having bench players and role players, as we know in the finals, has helped a lot. And I feel like that would help him a lot going forward.
Absolutely. Hoiberg?
I think it's time for him to go. And I think I could definitely see them moving on from Wiggins as well. I think it's time to bring in some new pieces around Steph. I think you keep Draymond because, like you said, Harrison, he's just an integral part of that team, and he kind of makes things go.
Mm-hmm.
I think he works so well with Steph, just the way he plays. And I think you just try, if you're the Warriors, you try to bring in some new pieces and build a new team to help them get to that contender level. I think Steph he's still got it for sure. So I'm not saying that they can't be contenders, but I think they just got to bring in new pieces. I like Kuminga a lot. I think he could be a stud in the future for sure. So I think you keep him. But I think it's time for Klay to go and maybe even Wiggins. Yeah,
Wiggins, he had some moments where he looked like he was really stepping up, becoming that third guy. It's inconsistency, pretty similar to Klay Thompson's case, where just consistency wasn't the option. Defense, he definitely stepped up a lot more with the Warriors. It's one thing he definitely got a lot better at. But they still have the Chris Paul situation, which, I mean, where are we at? Hindsight being 2020, was this an absolute disaster, getting Chris Paul with the Golden State Warriors? Because it just never felt like they fully figured out that lineup. It wasn't very effective when, they had one out trying to swap him out when he's on the bench, or even both of them out there. Felt clunky the whole time. Chris Paul, was that a hindsight, being 2020, was that a disaster? It should have never been done.
I think it was.
I'm with you. And I love Chris Paul.
I mean,
it kills me.
I feel like at the beginning of the season, was he starting? Or did he come straight into it off the bench?
Pretty sure he's starting.
Yeah, he might have started. I can't remember for sure, but I know a big chunk of it, he was starting to come off the bench.
I was going to say, when he's coming off the bench, I just think that, like, he was not a good player this year, honestly. Like, I don't think he would help their team at all. I mean, he started, like, his whole life. So, I don't think that was... from the beginning, I was like, why are you getting another guard? Like they didn't. That's not what they need.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I never thought that was a good trade.
Yeah, the fit always seemed awkward right off the bat. I mean, Jeff, what do you think about that? Like, can they iron this thing out? Because I believe, what has he got here for money guaranteed? Yeah, he's got a $30 million non-guaranteed salary for 2024-25.
I feel like if there's a coach to do it, Steve Kerr is the one to do it. It's hard though because Chris Paul has really bounced off to team, and he had a really good, really good shot in Phoenix. It kind of choked, not gonna lie.
Easy.
That's very tough because being that like getting older, especially now we see like the people we used to look up to are getting older and like their time is almost over because the new guys are taking over. Like that was this really true opportunity to really win a championship and like settle everything overall. Like having so many debates about him, he gets so much backlash. I feel like, and it's kind of tough to be in his position because, I mean, what can you do when people just keep shipping you away? There's not much you can really get a feel for anything, get used to a lot of stuff. So it's hard, but I feel like they'll figure it out. Just depends on the piece they get in free agency.
Yeah, I probably got to move on from it. That's the one fit with Chris Paul. Everywhere he's been, he wins. He wins at a pretty incredibly high rate. This is the one stop he's been at where the team didn't make any sort of uptick. Like even with OKC, like with what he did with SGA, and how much of this is SGA, how much is it Chris Paul? But SGA just went off into another stratosphere after he had a year with Chris Paul. Hoiberg, what do you think about the Chris Paul situation up with the Golden State Warriors? Fixable, or do you let him go and try to work forward and, hindsight being 2020, don't make that move again?
Yeah, I think it's time for him to go. I mean, he's just way past his prime, obviously. I just looked at his numbers, and he averaged 9 points and 6 assists in 28 minutes. It was worth a shot, I think, at the time. I think I said a while back that I thought it could have worked just with his passing ability. I think he'd be able to find Steph and Clay a lot, but obviously Clay had his worst season, and it was just down to Steph creating. So I think that experiment has failed, and they definitely, hindsight being 2020, probably should not have done it. I think they should invest in probably another big guy, honestly, because, I mean, you have Draymond, but I feel like we haven't really seen a good big play with Steph. And if you're going to do an experiment, I think you try to get a really solid big guy, because I think that'd be interesting to see how that shakes out.
I think you 2 or 3 years from now, Trace Jackson Davis, he's going to be a good player. I mean, he came off the bench. He had some good moments, to be fair. But I mean, he's still a rookie, so I think give him time. Like, obviously, they're going to need to bring in another big guy, like you said, but a couple of years, I think he's going to be a really solid player.
I'm pretty sure they're moving on from Looney. That's what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting as well, because he was part of that core.
Yeah, Kevin Looney.
Yeah,
the whole core is starting to slowly shave off.
Dwindle down.
Yeah, year by year, we're seeing the Golden State Warriors core meltdown. It does feel like, I mean, does this Warriors roster with Steph Curry as that guy, do you think they got a few rings left on the table, or do you think this thing's coming to a halt unless they do something like what Sam Hoiberg say, make a big splash, try to get an elite big in there? Or do you think this thing's pretty much tapped out? Sometimes I look at the Warriors the same way I feel about the Buffalo Bills, just without the winning. It's like you look at the Buffalo Bills, feels like that window's starting to shut on them. Unfortunately, they just ran into the Chiefs. The Warriors, they were able to win it, but it does feel like that window's starting to shut. As the rest of the West is caught up, it just, there's probably 3 teams I'd pick outside the Warriors this upcoming season as well.
I mean, they've done it before, so I'm not going to count them out exactly. But if they don't make any big trades, then yes, there's no chance of them actually doing that.
Yeah, they're gonna need someone elite, like very good. Because I mean, nowadays, like everyone has 2-3 superstars on every championship team. So I mean, right now, like it's really Steph, and so he's gonna need some help if they have any shot of winning their championship.
Yeah, Hoiberg, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think you got to try to make a splash. Like, maybe try a new experiment with Steph, because, I mean, he's such an unbelievable player. I think an experiment would be worth doing, because right now they don't look like contenders at all next year, and I think trying something new would definitely be worth it. Just go after someone that is like a really, I mean, I don't know the free agent situation exactly with really good big guys, but I think that'd be something interesting to see, just because we haven't seen it before. But yeah, I mean, I don't think you try to bring in a point guard with Steph like they did with Chris Paul. Maybe bring in someone in Clay's role if they get rid of him, but I think it'd be really interesting to see a big guy coming in.
Yeah, that's tough. Free agent wise, there's not a lot out there. Unfortunately for this year, you'd have to make some trades to get it done. Mo Bamba out there, if he'll be a free agent, you can try to pick him up, but it's pretty short list. They'd have to make a trade in order to pick up somebody. Free agent wise, there's not going to be a lot out there for him for something dramatic. One more guy, and then we'll throw it to break here. This guy's perplexing. I thought I bought into it when he got drafted with the Los Angeles Lakers, then with the Pelicans, seemed like a good fit, and now the fit just seems awkward. Zion Williamson, that is Brandon Ingram. Stalling there as well. They're unsure if they want to extend him. Sam Hoiberg, I'll start with you. Brandon Ingram, what's the move there? If you are that New Orleans front office trying to decide what you want to do with him.
Yeah, I mean, that's another interesting one because I just feel like the Pelicans aren't really in a contending spot anymore. I mean, not that they were. But he's just so, I feel like, wishy-washy almost in like terms of looking like a superstar and then just looking like a normal player. I'm not completely sold on him just because he has had time to develop and I think he's shown his potential, but I think you kind of center the team around Zion, and at this point Brandon Ingram isn't getting it done in terms of getting you more wins, so I think it's time to move on from him.
Yeah, I think that fit's just awkward too. Just kind of where Brandon Ingram likes to attack. It's not so much that I'm completely doubtful on Brandon Ingram. I'm a little bit surprised that he hasn't had that climb of career, but Brandon Ingram's had some of the most awkward pairings. Like with LA, it looks like a really promising rookie year. I think even that sophomore year played really well, and then LeBron James comes. And then obviously his stats take a dramatic dip down. Then he goes over to the Pelicans. Things are clicking there. They have Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart. Then you get Zion as well, and then things start to slog down. They plug in CJ McCollum, hoping to fix it, and they can't just tap in to the full potential of Brandon Ingram just simply because it feels like that offense doesn't fit him very well. But what are your guys' thoughts on that with Brandon Ingram? I think he still has the potential, but the fit with the Pelicans does feel weird at this point.
Yeah, I think it's time. Pelicans is really interesting because they make the playoffs, but then they just can't get past that first rounder. If the play-in, let alone.
Yeah, they were an 8th seed lock for how many years in a row, it felt like.
For a while.
And
Definitely
poor Drew Holiday had to try to will that team, do everything on defense and then offense as well. Then he goes to 2 different teams and gets 2 rings just like that. Henry Burt, what are your thoughts? Brandon Ingram, New Orleans Pelicans, time to move on, or do you like the fit?
I honestly don't think he's a bad fit. I just think they've had their struggles because, I mean, Zion came in. He's been hurt. He's had his issues.
Yeah, they definitely had to work around
weight.
Yeah.
But I mean, that last playoff game where Zion played, he had 50 and they won. So I mean, first game we ever saw him, like I don't think it's necessarily Brandon Ingram that's the problem. I just think they need to find some guards that fit well with them. I mean, who's the one guy?
They got McCollum.
They got McCollum, and then the other short
Jose Alvarado.
Yes, he's good, but like he has no offense. I feel like so. I feel like they need to bring in another guard that can score. Don't have many shooters, so I think he's fine where he's at. They just need to find someone else, and I think they'll have a good team, honestly, with Zion.
That's actually a pretty fair point, because if you do look at Brandon Ingram's career with the Pelicans, it's never been stable for him. Like, he has yet to have a spot that's truly been stable where he can figure out what his role is. It's constantly changing. So maybe that's why you can't expect consistent play, because his role within that team has never been consistent. With that being said, though, we'll go ahead and throw it to break here. We got Jeff Grace III, Henry Burt, and Sam Hoiberg, all of Nebraska basketball. Sam Hoiberg on the Allo VIP line, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. Don't go anywhere. We'll keep it rolling, but programming notes, we do got the Royals taking over the airwaves at 6:30. So if you want to continue with the show, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Allo, Channel 961, all great ways to do so. We'll throw it to break here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a little bit.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now, through June 30th, they have a special deal for ticket listeners only. Tell the Meat Market you'd like to try out their fresh pork and bacon patties. When you do that, you'll get 10 6-ounce patties for just $10 with a limit of 10. You must mention this and the ticket to get the deal. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Vanville.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today. we'll see mainly sunny skies with light winds. It'll be hot and humid with a high around 100. Tonight, a chance of showers and storms early and mainly clear with a low around 68. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies with an afternoon high around 89. I'm meteorologist Kyle Pucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Garage doors can be expensive. Are you keeping yours in the best condition possible? This is Cameron Hall with Doors Plus. Doors Plus is a locally owned business that prides itself on the fast, reliable, and friendly service. Doors Plus offers flexible scheduling so you can book an appointment that fits your busy day. My team and I will come out to your property, both commercial and residential, and provide you with the necessary information you need to make sure your garage door is in working and smooth condition. Give Doors Plus a call today at 402-590-5800 to book an appointment and learn more about our preventative maintenance plans. Doors Plus, garage doors, and more.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in, temperature-controlled, high-end wine bar. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for wine, beer, spirits, and cigars. Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Highball Bar in downtown Lincoln is open and located just north of 11th and O Street. Highball Bar offers a vibe and atmosphere like no other, making it the perfect place to grab a drink or beverage. Highball Bar features great events such as Karaoke Sunday, $4 Cheetos on Mondays, Jack Daniel's specials on Wednesdays, and much more. Make Highball Bar your go-to spot after a hard day at work or on the weekend. Highball Bar, located at 122 North 11th Street in downtown Lincoln.
And Grandpa, Mom and Dad, then the kids, and now the grandkids. Judson Irrigation has provided lawn sprinkler system design, installation, repair, and service to 4 generations. They're just like members of the family. Loyalty, trust, service. It's what you deserve and expect from Judson Irrigation.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals in everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
Back to Walk On Weekly. Here are your hosts, Sam Hoiberg and Jeff Grace III on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Walk On Weekly. We got the host, as always, Jeff Grace III to my left, Henry Burt, another guest stepping in here. And, of course, we got Sam Hoiberg on the Allo VIP line, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. Sam Hoiberg, while you were away in studio back here, we're talking about NBA coaches. And then we want to talk a little bit of college football as well. But J.J. Redick to the Los Angeles Lakers, we kind of had our thoughts about it off air. Give me your initial synopsis. My personal opinion, I thought Atkinson would have been the better hire, but they went with J.J. Redick. The podcast between LeBron James and J.J. Redick will no longer go on. I feel like that's important that they're dropping that. But your thoughts, J.J. Redick, do you like that fit for the Los Angeles Lakers?
I was really hoping we would talk about this. I don't know. I mean, it's just such an interesting hire. Obviously, I think he's going to get along really well with the guys initially. It's just the fact that, I mean, he's had a podcast with the star player. You're going to need guys to have a very open mind about it, which I'm sure they probably will be. I mean, everyone's there to win, but it's just so interesting bringing in a guy with no coaching experience at all. I mean, I think he has really good basketball knowledge and IQ, but it's not, I don't think it's anything special compared to other coaches you've been able to find. I mean, I've seen clips of the podcast. I've watched a bit of it, and he is very smart, but all this stuff is just, I feel like it's pretty basic NBA knowledge, and any coach that you would hire would have it. So I really need to see him implement his coaching style just to see what it'll be like. But honestly, when you're coaching LeBron James and teams like that, I feel like the coaching is almost like a backseat, and it's just a cop-out for every time they don't do well. So, I mean, it's just so different that I could see it working out, but it's also such a weird hire with him never having any coaching experience. It could be a disaster.
Yeah, it scares me if I'm a Lakers fan. I don't like the hire. And, like, if you want to hear, like, what Hoiberg was saying, he's definitely not like he doesn't have a bright mind when it comes to basketball, but if you want to hear like a real genius talk about basketball, listen to Mazzulla anytime for the Celtics after a press conference. That guy is smart.
I was just about to mention that, actually. Like, him and like his, like, I think things that like he brings to the team, like talking about like the soccer mechanics and stuff like that, and like also like watching like MMA fights and stuff like that is just like really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I never like would have think like a coach could like inspire you in that type of way, watching another sport and like learning from other sports and implementing into basketball.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I'm very skeptical and pessimistic on the move. Like, I don't think it's going to work out at all. I think, especially if you're JJ Redick, I'll be honest, I think you'd much rather take the Pistons job. I think it's a way better organic start. 15 wins, you already beat the last coach. That's not nearly as high as the bar. When you have LeBron James on the roster, the expectation is a finals run. Anything less of that, then you're the scapegoat and you're the problem. Darvin Ham was the scapegoat. Frank Vogel was the scapegoat. LeBron James has only had 2 head coaches that haven't gotten fired while he was on that roster, and that's Spoelstra, and then I think Ty Lue was the only other one. Mm-hmm. Everybody else has gotten fired. So a lot of pressure for J.J. Redick. I don't think he can live up to it. Not that he won't ever be a great coach, but he's going to be expected to make a finals run with the quote-unquote no experience. I'll give him some experience because he's obviously been in the NBA, been in locker rooms. It's not like he has no idea, but he's definitely going to have to surround himself with some real veterans. Does this thing shake out? What are your guys' thoughts on it?
I mean, like Sam said, it's going to be interesting. I mean, he definitely has a good brain and like knows what he's doing, has a high IQ, but being a player is way different than being a coach.
Yeah.
And like actually knowing what you're doing, like he's gonna have to learn a lot as he goes along, and like having a good staff around him, stuff like that. That's gonna be important. So there's a lot of different pieces that are gonna have to be figured out. I would have had the pieces figured out if I was coaching beforehand, because I feel like he's going to like fire.
Yeah.
Like there's no choice. He has to produce. Has to. If not, then he'll still get paid, but he'll probably want a job.
Yeah, he'll be looking for another job.
Yeah.
So you're pessimistic on it. More pessimistic than optimistic. Not saying that you're not committing to it's not going to work, but you're more shaky on it than you are confident.
Definitely.
Henry Burt, what about you?
You know, when I saw that, like, I wasn't shocked because, people have been talking about it ever since they started this podcast, and I haven't watched any of this podcast, so I have no knowledge on JJ Redick. But like what Sam was saying, it's going to be very player driven, I think. And everyone talks like LeBron already is the coach, because in the playoffs you can just see this dude on the sideline. He's taking the role of the coach. Like you can't blame him because of this dude's career, but I don't think it's going to work out. Like with Darvin Ham, it didn't work. And he actually has coaching experience, so I think it's a lot different, but yeah, I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, I'm pessimistic. Shout out JJ Redick. I think it's a tough job. Like, being the head coach of Los Angeles Lakers already has an immense amount of pressure, expected success. You throw LeBron James in that mix. We just saw it with Vogel. 2 years. I know you just want us to run and get out. Like, they are impatient ever since Jeannie Buss kind of started taking over the helm, and it was, Jeannie Buss, Rob Pelinka show. It's really been, outside of that one title where you got AD LeBron for that bubble title, it's kind of been just an incredibly bumpy ride. One other team, though, the Detroit Pistons still haven't named a head coach, and after getting rid of Monty Williams, after guaranteeing him one of the largest contracts, he's also double dipping. He's got some of that Phoenix Suns money as well.
Paid.
If you want to, get that severance pay, learn from Monty Williams. He'll be hanging out for the next 5 years. Won't need to lift a finger. But Sam Hoiberg, Detroit Pistons, I'm surprised they need to move quickly. They should have grabbed Atkinson. Now he's been picked up too late for him. Looking at coaches that are left out there available, I don't know what the moves are. Is there anybody out there that you like for the Detroit Pistons? Because they need a professional at this point. They can't take any more gambles or risk. That franchise was getting booed for majority of last season. They need a real leader in there. Is there anybody out there that piques your interest for the Detroit job?
Jesus himself, maybe.
I don't even know.
I don't see. Monty Williams was the coach of the year, I think not even 4 years ago. The NBA coach of the year. Everyone's praising him for being such a great coach. Gets this insane contract and then is going to a rebuilding team, and then you fire him for losing. I just do not understand that move whatsoever. You can blame the coach all you want, but look at the roster and just the makeup of that organization right now. You can't put that on a coach. You got to be so patient with rebuilds. And I don't know the coaches that are available out there right now, so I couldn't just name a candidate for you, but it's going to take a lot more than just a new coach to get that thing fixed. You got to give it time and then really just let the rebuild happen for anything to happen good there.
Yeah, they really should just held on to Monty Williams. That's where I'm at. I can't believe they fired him.
He should have been part of that rebuild 100%.
And most players were injured the whole year.
Yeah, and like Hoiberg was saying, like, a lot of them are young guys.
Definitely.
Draft picks are still trying to shake out. You don't really know what you have. A lot of them. You got some decent young players, but it wasn't a good roster. Nobody looked at that roster and said, "This is a team that's going to make the playoffs." Like, even with the playoffs being extended now, even with the play-in tournament, I don't think a single person was looking at that roster saying, "Oh yeah, we can lock them in for the play-in." Like, that's how bad the roster construction was. So, yeah, and apparently that came from, the top down, which is even weirder. That wasn't just the GM. That was, ownership level decision. Monty Williams, I thought he should have been the guy. Yeah, I feel like the Detroit Pistons, there's not a long list of coaches left out there. Like I said, I'm surprised the Lakers waited as long as they did, especially if it was just going to end up being JJ Redick. Still think Dan Hurley would have been a better pickup, but I think Dan Hurley used the Lakers as leverage. He's got that nice UConn pay bump. But yeah, let's talk, before we get out of here, let's talk about our surprise team in the NBA, in particular in the East, because the Boston Celtics, they're going to be remembered weirdly because people are going to want to say they had an easy run through the Eastern Conference, but at the same time, they also had an incredible record in the regular season. I don't know if they'd have problems even if the East was healthy. Anybody else outside of the Celtics, or is this just, are we running into a Celtics dominant Eastern Conference era? Because the way they played last season, all the pieces they have, Porzingis not even fully needing him in those NBA finals, I don't think anybody's coming close to the Celtics for the next 3 years at least.
I got two. Depending on what the Magic do, I like the Magic a lot.
Yeah, Banchero's nice. I will say, I'm optimistic about him.
I think just give him a couple of years, it'll be good. Depending on what they do in free agency, we'll see. And then the Knicks, I think they can make something shake with the free agency right now. So I'm liking them so far.
I also really like the Knicks. I was really hoping that they would get it done in that series, but I mean, Brunson has been unbelievable. Like that dude is fun to watch. Even the whole team, like I feel like they're so connected and they have so much chemistry that's really what helped them. Like the Villanova guys playing what?
Yeah, Josh Howard grabbing like 15 rebounds for you.
Yeah,
48 minutes.
Yeah.
I think they have a good chance. Other than that, I mean, I still think the Celtics are locked for the next 2 weeks. Like they are incredible. I don't know anyone that's beating them, honestly.
Are Brown and Tatum top 10 players? Both of them, one of them, none of them? Hoiberg, I'll ask you first.
And like
in the NBA.
I kind of want to go back to that like the teams playing with the Celtics. I don't think, like, I'm right there with you, Harrison. I think the Celtics definitely could go on a run of dominance. Here's the team that I think could be the sleeper now. I think teams are kind of thinking less of them right now, but if the Sixers were able to get a Paul George or someone, I've seen rumors. If the Sixers are able to bring in an elite player alongside Embiid, that could be the team that could challenge them.
That one's not bad.
I don't think the Knicks have enough firepower to beat the Celtics. I love the way they play. I agree with Henry there, but I just don't think the roster makeup is good enough to beat them. I think you need some firepower, and if the Sixers are able to get a really good player, that might be the only team that could give them a run.
Yep, I'm with you there. The only other sleeper I can think of is the Pacers, just because they're under the radar. Seems like they have a very clear direction on where they want to go, and to me, that's kind of when teams get dangerous. Because again, we can go back to the Pelicans. You look at that team, you're like, man, they got a lot of talent, but you don't trust them to put it together because they don't really know the direction they want to go. The Pacers, you look at them, what they're doing with Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam. It looks like they've kind of found their guys, and the roster around it, the role players all know what their roles are. So are they going to beat the Celtics next year? Probably not. But is it a team that at least give them a few years, maybe can build up to that level? Give it to them. Indiana, sneaky place to play too. One of the best home court advantages. That place is rocking. But yeah, I think we're just headed into an East dominance era. Before we wrap up here, though, Sam Hoiberg, will let you go. We'll wrap up with this. Back to the same question. Tatum and Brown, because again, this roster, I feel like it's going to be given a disservice on how great of the roster they were. Tatum and Brown, top 10 players, both, neither, or just one of them? Anyone can start.
This is tough. Because Brown obviously won Finals MVP. I think Tatum still is the best player on that team. He's a driving force. I know he gets a lot of hate for some of his shooting numbers, but like he was creating, he was rebounding really well, and I think he's still kind of the head of the snake of that team. I think you got to put one of them in the top 10. I mean, Jaylen Brown is very, very good. I think you put him in probably the 10 to 15 range, and then you can throw Tatum in the later top 10s.
I mean, I'd say Tatum is top 10. Probably 9 or 10.
That's where I'm at. I literally got like Tatum 10 and Brown 11.
Yeah.
Like they're so close to each other.
Yeah, 100%.
They're definitely, very close.
And I wonder too if that's the blueprint now. Like you don't necessarily need a top 3, top 5 player in the NBA. Because you look at what the Celtics did, it's like 1 through 5. You even give us veteran Al Horford at the 5 position. We'll still find a way to beat you. Because we still got a White that can come off the bench, drop 20. Drew Holiday might be feeling like 20 points that day. Like it's just, you don't know. And the matchup wise, how good everybody is, like you can't hide anybody. And I think that's where the Mavericks ran into problems. They're always able to hide Luka up until they met the Celtics. Celtics, there's nowhere you can tuck Luka away and try to hide him defensively. And that's what happened. Then he got absolutely exposed because I just think the Celtics are that deep, and we're running into one of those eras in the Eastern Conference in particular where Boston's probably going to run it for a little while. With that being said, though, Sam Hoiberg will let you go. We got one more segment, though, on the other side. We'll have Henry Burt, Jeff Grace III still back here in studio with me, so don't go anywhere. We'll keep it rolling here on Walk On Weekly. Talk to you in just a little bit.
Planet Fitness Black Card, you don't just get a great workout, you get a great perk out because your membership is packed with perks. For $1 down and $24.99 a month, you'll get perks like access to any of our 2,400 clean and spacious locations. Bring your friend anytime and both work out with tons of equipment that'll give you that big fitness energy. Relax in the Black Card spa and more. Work out and perk out with the PF Black Card. Join for just $1 down and $24.99 a month.
Hurry, deal ends June 14th. Join now, online or at your local PF Club.
See Home Club for details.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And right now they are offering huge, and I mean huge discounts at Koppel. Get over $9,000 off list price or 1.9% financing on select Sierras or Silverados. Plus, Costco members receive another $1,000 off. Yes, that's happening right now in Louisville. $9,000 off list price or 1.9% financing. You pick what works for you. Costco members, please contact us at the store or at KoppelCars.com. All deals with approved credit must trade and finance.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska or online in your own home. Learn to ride a motorcycle, how to start a small business, how to dance, or take a course to advance in your current career path. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Alcohol has strained our relationship. Drinking too much can cause harm to friends, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, we will save our relationship. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Grandma and Grandpa, Mom and Dad, then the kids, and now the grandkids. Judson Irrigation has provided lawn sprinkler system design, installation, repair, and service to 4 generations. They're just like members of the family. Loyalty, trust, service. It's what you deserve and expect from Judson Irrigation.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
Back to Walk On Weekly. Here are your hosts, Sam Hoiberg and Jeff Grace III on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, wrapping things up here on Walk On Weekly. We got Jeff Grace III, no Sam Hoiberg. We let him go from the Allo VIP line. We got Henry Berthild to take his place. If you guys want to join in, last-second comments. Again, we got the Royals on the FM airwaves, but Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, Allo Channel 96.1 still available to you. To wrap things up, let's talk a little bit NFL. We got Jeff Grace III in here, also a Bears fan. I'm obviously pretty biased. I've been talking about this a lot. I think I look at the Bears roster and I for once actually look at that offense and I'm like, I don't know how you can say this team isn't at least 500. Obviously, a lot of it hinges on Caleb Williams, but where are you feeling with this Bears team heading into this upcoming season, which is unfortunately the NFC North has just gotten better now that the Lions have figured it out. And the Packers, as much as it kills me, they are just great at finding the next great quarterback to run that franchise with Jordan Love.
Yeah.
So the NFC North still strong as ever, but at least the Bears got some talent. How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. Obviously, it's tough to let Fields go and everything that happened there. But I feel like Caleb Williams has a lot of potential. He has a lot of weapons around him. And I think our defense is pretty solid in a good position.
Yeah, we got Montez Sweat, put him on we gave him a nice big deal to keep him around because he was real leader of the defense last year.
Indeed. And I'm pretty sure we kept Eddie Jackson, right? So everything's looking up to par. I mean, it just all depends on how well Caleb Williams can adjust from college to the NFL.
Yeah, so we're right now on the wave of we're riding the hope. Things are looking good. Henry Burt, completely different scenario. You were riding the hope. The hope led you to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
Unfortunately, you got some tough losses. Literally had to change the rules. That's how tough the loss was.
Yep.
And just lost.
And now it feels like you're on this Cowboys treadmill of like purgatory, where you're just good enough but not quite there yet. How are you feeling about the Bills on what is the most depleted wide receiver core Josh Allen's going to have to work with in a long time?
People are going to say, you're not going to have as good receivers. I have hope though. Brought in Curtis Samuel. He has been a really solid player his whole career. He's been very slept on and he's always been the second, third guy. He's going to be the number one guy this year. And I really think he's going to be a good player. I know Josh Allen, he can get it to anyone, as you've clearly seen. They've had 4 or 5 receivers that can go off on any given night. But I really like our chances. But the unfortunate thing is being in the same conference as the Chiefs. And clearly they've gotten better from last year even. So it's gonna be tough. We just need to get one playoff win against them because it's always gonna be us two at the end. So I think if we beat them in the playoffs, we probably will win the Super Bowl. But I don't know how this year is gonna be because, like people said, our receivers, everyone who knows. I'm very hopeful. I'm biased.
Is it still Cook at the running back position?
Yeah, James Cook. He had a phenomenal year too. He's only his second year, so I think he's going to be a really solid back. Our defense should be good, but that's all we need. Just one win, literally one win. They're all one score difference in these games, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's what was really brutal about last season. Because last season I was like, the Bills did it. This is their year. Because they got the Chiefs in the regular season, so it's like they're going to get them at home for the playoffs. Perfect. The Chiefs, man. The Chiefs are.
It's so hard to beat them. Like the Niners were clearly the best team in all of football. Wasn't even close, and they still lost. Football is amazing because you look at Tom Brady. This dude, it really is the quarterback. The quarterback runs everything in football, and Josh Allen has done a phenomenal job running his team. But Patrick Mahomes, he is on another level of his competitiveness. I don't know what it is about him, but that dude is probably wound up with a better career than Brady. So,
ooh, that's a big one.
He's gonna have to get on that fast track. He did catch up some ground though.
As long as he is with Travis Kelce, I firmly believe that he will have a better career than Brady.
It definitely. Well, since the Bills, we'll see what the season looks like. But if the Bills don't look sharp.
Yeah,
it's like who's going to be that team to rival them? Is it going to be the Cincinnati Bengals?
I think the Ravens. I think the Ravens have a chance. Unless they have to find a way to win the ugly game. Yeah, have to.
Just that's the thing though with Patrick Mahomes. It's like I don't even think it can be them because like Henry Burt was saying, it's like there comes that moment in every playoff series where you need your quarterback to make a play on 3rd and long. Just make the throw, and for some reason Mahomes is able to make it every single time. We saw that with Lamar Jackson. They didn't trust him for some reason. They it was a bizarre game plan. They really got away with the running, and then when he had to make the tough throws, they didn't really trust him too much. They were trying to get a lot of screen, just get some motion.
Game.
Well, and I mean, at the same time, in the Chiefs-Bills game in the playoffs this year, Josh did everything perfect. I'm not even kidding. Diggs had 2 drops.
Yeah, that one hurt.
That were bad. And I mean, I'm kind of glad that he left. I kind of knew the last season he just wasn't. He's a very he's very
boisterous.
Yeah, like he wants him to be the show all the time, and when he's not the show, things are like it's a problem. And we could see that. Like he wasn't getting the ball, like he was posting on Twitter, his brother was.
Yeah, I forgot about it. He had a bunch of weird stuff going on.
I'm glad that he's gone.
It's a big pickup for Houston.
He's a very good player. He's a very good player. But I don't think him and Josh clicked to the point where it was gonna
It was
out.
Interesting though, as we wrap things up though, because you did kind of feel that team chemistry issue, but at the same time, you mentioned it's like, hey, you want to be that guy. 2 major drops in one of the biggest games. Like that's how you be the guy.
Yeah.
You make those plays. But obviously, moving on, Texans are going to be looking pretty nice.
Oh,
They're looking good.
We'll wrap things up here, though. Appreciate you guys joining us. This has been Walk On Weekly. Shout out Henry Burr for joining us in the absence of Sam Hoiberg. Although you can go back, he was here with us for the first 2 segments. Jeff Grace III in studio as always. Wrap it up here. Talk to you guys in a little bit as we got the Don't Punt Hour with DeMornay Piersonell up next.